Hey everybody, so welcome back to Jim Bob's Garden. So today what I want to do is the first day of summer, so I'd like to take you around and show you what we got growing, what's going on, some of the things you can grow this time of year, some of the staples that we have here in my garden for the hot summertime and the bugs and all that comes along. With that being said, I also want to cover what you can plant here in June, which is a very short list. So what my guide says is eggplant, okra, black-eyed peas, sweet potatoes, and winter squash. And that is all. But like I said, there's some things that we grow in the summertime that do real well for us, and I'll show you those as we go along. Alright, so I got all dressed up for you, my best short pants. So let's go take a walk and see what we got. Come along. Alright, so first off, Mama wanted to make sure that I showed you her flowers. Alright, and they're doing very well. She's put a lot of work into getting the flowers growing in the front yard. We both did, but mostly it was her. Alright, like here you've got some bee balm, you got some blanket flower, and a whole bunch more as we go along. And then I also want to show you our wildlife habitat sign, which you get from being certified as a wildlife habitat. Alright, interesting process. If you ever want to check it out, there is a, it comes from World Wildlife Federation. You can check them out online and look into it. It's a great thing because it allows, well, the idea is that I have provided a space for wildlife to come live, and there's certain requirements, like I don't use pesticides, anything like that. And so on. So check it out. It's pretty neat. Alright, so here's another one of our gardens out front. You might ask yourself, why does he have so much grass? Well, this is where I make most of my compost. And I want you to know my HOA came through and told me you need to resod your yard, your entire yard. Well, they didn't say entire, they said your yard. So I'm assuming the entire yard. I did not resod my yard, and it is looking real good, I gotta say. But so are Mama's flowers. So we got everything in here from some milkweed to irises right there, which have stopped blooming, but bloomed for quite a while. More black-eyed Susan. I forget what the purple plants are. These right here, they also flower. They're really nice. I believe they're considered invasive, but they've never been that way for us. More of the black-eyed Susans, and some blanket flower, and then marigolds are really just starting to bloom out. Then we got a mulberry tree right there, and some Mexican heather down in here. Let me see, I get a better shot from over here. Some Mexican heather down in there, and some more grass. And these, I believe, are irises as well. I can't remember exactly what they are, but then we got more over here, along with some roses. Now these black-eyed Susans, they grow like weeds. Once you get them started, man, they just keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back. They're pretty cool that way, I gotta say. Alright, same thing with the blanket flowers. Some of these we found in the yard and just moved to various places where we wanted them. So here's some more roses that are just fixing to bloom. These are some new ones I got her, I think. Is that the one? I think it is. They smell really good and they're very pretty. Wish they were blooming, I could show you. But, you know, today's the first day of summer, so I wanted to make sure that you get a chance. I want you to see, you see those bees? See, that bee is a native bee. It's not a honeybee. That's one of the natives. And they really like these blanket flowers. They're a native here, along with the black-eyed Susans. But you can see they're all over the place. I mean, little tiny bees. Now there is a guy here close by that has a beehive, but you don't see as many honeybees as you see the natives. And it's better later in the evening or early in the morning. But man, they're all over the place. Hopefully you can see that one there, right on top. Yeah, we're getting a lot of pollinators, and that's a lot of the reason for why we do what we do. And then is to basically get the pollinators coming. All right, and pollinators help for the the fruit to grow and so on. All right, so I have a ton of crepe myrtles. Now those came with the house. As you can see, they're starting to flower out, and they are kind of pretty. They're kind of pretty. This is our orange tree. We have a lot of fruit trees, and you can see that we have a lot of fruit growing. All right, not as many as last year, but there's probably several, probably 2 or 3 dozen. Oh, and there's a hawk. I think it's my hawk. Anyway, you can't see him. Alright, now this hedge is really in bad need of being trimmed, but I like it because it screens the rest of the yard from prying eyes and so on. We do live in an HOA, so that's always best. Along here I have my peach tree. Provided a ton of peaches this year. It's really nice. We just got all kind of goodies from the peach tree. And then here is my sad looking mulberries. I'm not sure what's going on. I had like, I don't know, 7 or 8 of them in here. Most of them died back, so I cut them down. But then you got this one back here that's really growing crazy, and that's off of a stump. So I'm gonna do some more cutting back on these and see. But we have gotten so little rain. We're actually looking for some rain here shortly, which will really be nice if we can get some rain. This is another orange. That's a mandarin orange tree, and it's starting to green back up. It was very yellow for a while. I'm hoping it's not something bad like citrus green. And then this is my other peach tree, which grew 1 peach this year, but that's better than last year, so I can't complain too much. And then next to that, I got our pear tree. And I'll show you. If you look right up there, you can see some of the pears. And then I got a few more up there, and a few more up there. First year we've gotten multiple pears. It's been like 1 or 2 each year. Alright, another thing I wanted to talk about is this tree right here. So when I originally bought this tree, it was supposed to have been a black cherry. Now, little did I know that if you look, let me see if I can point it out. Yeah, that tree right there, is that the right one? Let's see, there's the pine tree. Yeah, that's it. Alright, so that tree right there above my finger is actually a black cherry. And I'll show you, there's a couple more in the back. Didn't realize I had them, didn't really know what a black cherry was, because they're very, very small cherry. But this tree was supposed to have been a black cherry. Alright, now, they're supposed to be a really fast grower and grow to like 60 feet in next to no time. And this one just wouldn't grow, wouldn't grow, wouldn't grow. I'm like, what the heck? So we finally, this year, got blooms. And guess what they are? It's actually a native persimmon tree. And I bought this as a bare root tree from a nursery, 1 of 2. I'm not going to name the nursery just because. But I bought 1 of 2. The first one died immediately. This one has grown, and it's been, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, which should have made this a 20-30 foot tree. But it's actually not a black cherry. It's actually a native persimmon tree, which is fine, but not what I bought. So sometimes when you're buying stuff online, you kind of gotta, you gotta wonder whether or not you're getting what you think you're getting. All right, here is my Fuyu persimmon tree. And now we know that this is a persimmon because, like I said, it flowered out and the persimmon blooms. It didn't make any fruit this year, but it's still young. But the persimmon blooms looked like a smaller version of what you got from the Fuyu persimmons. And then we also had a plant identification app that showed us that that's what it was. Alright, so this is our Fuyu persimmon, and it's produced last year and this. And you can see the fruits are just now starting to turn colors. You really got to wait on these until they're really red. Man, they are so good. So good. Alright, I'm going to wait to go into the garden proper. Let's walk around and look at some of these other trees. Alright, this is our olive tree, 1 of 2. These 2 trees were planted at the same time, and I'll show you the other one here in a second. I am in a windier section of the yard, so please bear with me on the wind noise. And this is my kumquat tree, which you can see is just now starting to bloom out. There's still a few fruits. I thought I saw, oh look at that, there's another bee. Oh, there's 2 of them, 3 of them. Oh, look at that, man. The bumblebees, man, they're just loving it. Oh, 4. There's 4 of them on there. Very nice. But it's starting to bloom out, and usually we'll have ripe fruit sometime around Christmas-ish. But I've already got some fruit that are starting to grow, so I'm thinking we'll get a few of them to ripen up a little bit earlier. This is my loquat tree here, one of them. I have a ton of these, and I'm going to grow even more. Very good fruits. They're past their time though. I'm going to be trimming those back here shortly. Another loquat tree here. Did not make fruit this year, but I'm sure it will next. It's getting to be that size. I'm going to do a little trimming on that. Here are my better mulberry trees, which produce the most. But even they're looking a little bit sadder than normal, but I think it's just because we haven't got any rain. It's been so dry. Literally, I mean drought conditions. I'll show you the pond here in a minute. Here's another one of my loquat trees, one of the bigger ones. This is our plum trees. Now this plum tree I water pretty much daily. Now I don't water it real hard, or plum bush I guess. But even that's looking so sad because we aren't getting that deep soaking rain like we really need. Now back here is Mama's butterfly garden, which is, we let it go for a long time, but it is really starting to come back now. Some of the things we have back in here, we have some milkweed. There. And there. And there. And various other places. Then we have some more of the black-eyed Susans and blanket flower here. Have a few of the, I think that's a type of iris. A lot of other different flowering plants back here. And then we have the Mexican sunflower, which is supposed to be a chop and drop bush, but we've just let it go this year. And then here we have the fennel. Now fennel is really good for swallowtail butterflies. They really like it. Monarchs love the milkweed, but the swallowtails really love fennel. Excuse me. And dill. Alright, back over here. We got another plum. And then here we have another loquat. And back in here, that is a blackberry, which has produced a few blackberries. Not a lot this year. This was fully like involved in weeds. So what I did, we pulled everything out. And in fact, we figured out that we still have some asparagus here. We'd have put an asparagus crown down here. No, actually it was seeds. We planted seeds. They grew, we had a few of them grow, and then it died back, mostly because we didn't take care of the weeds. So now it's starting to come back, I'm hoping. Alright, and then behind that you'll see those are the Seminole pumpkins. Which the idea is hopefully that'll spread and shade a lot of this, but I got to get back in here. I've got some more wood chips to put down. I'm going to put some of those here very shortly. And like I said, here is another smaller loquat. There's a smaller loquat right there. And then this is a pecan tree. Now you got to be careful with pecan trees because they get huge. Alright, and then these are pomegranate bushes. Here and there. You see that one? Alright, and then this back here is shampoo ginger, which is a really neat thing. Now I don't normally show this too much, but these cactus back here are actually edible. You can actually cut them up. You can eat the fruits, but you can also eat the cactus as well. So then over here I have my banana tree. Now we got one rack of bananas started and then it died off, and we have not gotten another one since. Now I'm hoping this year, we're really trying to water hard, but again, one of the things, bananas love water, and since we don't have a lot of rain coming down, I don't have a lot of hope that we're going to get bananas, but you just never know. So I've been watering a lot. There's only so much you can do though. I mean, you can't mimic the rain. This is a baby fig tree that is taking forever to grow, but hopefully it'll take off. Over here, this is my, that is a Italian honey fig. This one is an Aschia fig, and you can see that we have figs here, figs there, and this is kind of, this time of year the figs kind of take over as our primary fruit source. We got some pears, but that's about it for fruit. Right here is my grapes. And you can see grapes there. You see grapes up in here. You see grapes all through there. Some up there. So when those start to ripen up, we'll have a bunch of grapes to eat. You see they're all over. And they're good. They're a good tasting grape. Over here is my brown turkey fig. And let's see, we got a couple of them here. Alright, and there. They're looking, I don't know, not great, but again, it's just so dry. Then of course more of the blanket flower and the black-eyed Susans, which we'll be coming through and cutting them here shortly. We need to deadhead them. Some more over here, and then up in this area, this is another peach tree that hasn't done very well, but this year it's kind of coming back, hopefully. So I'm going to take all that dead wood off and hopefully get it growing again. See if we can get a no-kidding peach tree back here as well. Now right there, that is another loquat, another plum tree there, which I got from cuttings. Man, that is one big bird. We do get bald eagles here. Anyway, this is another, pear tree that we just planted this year. It's doing very well so far. And then this sad little thing right here, Charlie Brown's Christmas tree, that was a nectarine tree. They just never made it. So we may get another one. We're going to see what sprouts up from below the graft line. I think it'll be a peach, but we'll see. And if worse comes to worse, we'll do some more grafting on it. This is our Meyer lemon tree, which has always produced fairly well, except for last year. We didn't get many because of a late freeze, I think it was. And then next to that, you got some more pomegranates. And then, let's see, I'll get a picture of a few of the lemons. And you can see I do have lemons. I got one there, I got one there, I got some there, got another one right there. Now there is another type of swallowtail, the big, I think they're called giant swallowtail. And we got some more lemons up there. Not as many as we've had before, but at least it did come back, because it got beat up pretty bad the year before last, I think it was. But it usually produces pretty well. And then we have another one growing over here, which I'll show you. There's my bug hotel, which I don't know, let's see. You can see them right now. When you come here in the evening, this is a very busy place, man. They're all over the place. And if you look here, you can see, oh, there's one that just went in. Those holes, a lot of them are clogged up, and that's because they've got bee larvae inside of them. So it's been really good. I really like that. I put all this other stuff up in the top on recommendations. I have not noticed any activity up there. So if I was doing this again, I would just get wood, drill the holes like I did in this one, and leave it at that. I haven't seen any activity in this upper section with the bricks and the sticks and all of that. So, and then here we put paper rolls, and there's a few of them that got stuff in it, and then some plastic straws, but they really like the holes in the wood better. At least they seem to. Alright, this is my apple tree. Last year we had some tiny apples that we got around Christmas time, I want to say, or New Year's. But we had one apple there, and somebody thieved it. I'm thinking a squirrel or something. We do have some squirrels that live around here. Stinking squirrels. And then up here is a few more lemons from another Meyer lemon tree I got from cuttings, actually. I actually managed to get cuttings to grow, which is very difficult with lemon trees. But I'll cut back some of the lower growth on that. And this one, instead of being a bush like the other one is, I'm going to try and make it into a no-kidding tree. That's why it's all tied up straight, so that hopefully it'll get some height on it. And then we'll cut back anything below walking level or cutting level. And then here, oh man, my wife is so excited about this. You can see right there, those are olives. I actually got olives growing on our olive tree. First year. We've had this like 7 years. And it's actually got them all over the place. And we've never preserved olives, which is apparently quite the task, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Alright, let's see what else. So, in this, a little bit of comfrey over here. And then we had a bunch of dwarf bananas that have never done anything. We put them in the compost, and guess what grew out of the compost? Dwarf bananas. So we'll see, I may put them somewhere. Don't really know yet. Down here, we've got another one of the Seminole pumpkins that hadn't really taken off yet. Isn't really just loving it, but hopefully it will here shortly. This is another apple tree which has just not liked it here. Now this is probably some of the worst dirt that we've had, but you can see that is the only thing, this one branch, that is really putting any leaves on at all. So we're going to leave it. I'm going to probably cut this back pretty severely, leave the one branch and see where we go from there. See if it continues to grow, but it ain't looking happy. So we're working on it though. Another lemon that we got from cuttings. Down here you got a couple of tomatillo plants right there. Another one of the oh man, tastes like, anyway, another plant, another baby loquat. Fennel, that's what that is, another fennel. This is a passion fruit vine, but I don't know if it actually is the flowering kind or if it actually produces fruit. We'll see. Just got it this year for Mother's Day, my wife did, so we're putting it in there. This is a raspberry fixing to come up. And then over here, in one of the other videos I showed y'all how I used mulberry sticks for branches. For sticks to tie off string to, so that I could measure out my garden and so on. Well, those are two of them that are still alive. Stuck them in the ground over here and they're still growing. So we'll see. We'll see if we actually get mulberries off them. Alright. And then over here we'll start with the actual garden. Well, let's go inside first. Let's go inside first and we'll walk around and show Mama's flowers. I do want to show you this. So for some reason, every time I grow Malabar spinach, it grows so much better in the pots in here than it does outside. Now I'm thinking it's because it's got some shade, but I put some of the Malabar spinach plants in shade, and they still are not doing nearly as well as these. Alright, and then I've got Malabar spinach, Egyptian spinach, and then amaranth. Okay, same thing over here. Got the same trio there, which I need to start cutting that back. But you can see it's just going off. It's actually reaching and all. Tomato plant that did not do well. We got snails back in here so bad. But over here, this is a Jack B. Little squash. Now the only thing about growing squash in an enclosure like this is if you want squash, you're going to have to self-pollinate or hand pollinate them. A little bit of plant sex going on. That is a Barbados cherry. This is a blackberry, which you can see I've kind of got strung up, and it produced a ton of blackberries. Alright, various and sundry different plants. That's a kitty cat plant. She definitely planted herself. Alright, lots of different flowers. All kind of goodies back in here. Now these roses, my wife started all those from cuttings. And they haven't flowered out in here much, but they will. They will. It's still kind of hot for flowering. A lot of different plants. Almost all of them were the discounted plants of various sorts. You can see my duck buddies right there. That's my backup meat source if I ever get really hungry. This is a moonflower plant that my neighbor gave us, which is going crazy. So we kind of like it. Well, I haven't seen a flower yet. Alright, some more cuttings. These are all rose cuttings, I believe. And then those are some more Malabar spinach I gotta find a place for. An avocado plant from seed. Lavender, I think it's thyme. Oh, marjoram, sorry. A couple of tomatoes I'm kind of holding off on. I'll plant them eventually. Some lemon basil, lemongrass, some more raspberries. And over here is kind of my plant starter area. This is a few of the little finger eggplant that I still got to find a place for. This is some pink amaranth, which I'm fixing to start putting out here shortly. And this is supposed to be zinnias, but so far out of all the seeds I got, it looks like I've got 3 plants. Maybe 4 back there. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Right here, what we have here is a celery plant. Alright, so this is a celery plant that is flowering out. And you can see this is the second one that's doing the same thing. And we're hoping to get seeds. So once they get a little bigger and dry out, all right, that's another, we'll be planting some of those seeds because we really like growing our own celery. Barbados cherry here. This one is a star fruit from seed. And then down below that, you can see we got a few things. That is, I believe, holy basil. This is Suriname spinach. And then another fennel. And then right here, we have a whole bunch of stevia, which does well here. And this was a sad looking, oh man, what are they called? Guava, that's what it is, guava. A pink guava. Got it for $5 because it was so sad looking. It looked like a Charlie Brown tree again. But we got it coming back, so we're going to see if we can't get that one growing as well. Alright. You want to come out? Come on. You want out? Kitty can't make up her mind. It looks like it might rain soon, so I got to probably hurry this up. Alright, so over here is our herb garden. It's more or less Mama's tea garden. Got a few things in here that really aren't tea-ish. But we got some stevia, we've got mint. We do have a little bit of the milkweed and a few other things. Primarily, hopefully attract hummingbirds to our hummingbird feeders. Alright. And then some more shampoo, ginger, and cardamom back in there. This is our blueberries, which have produced a few, but the birds usually get them before we do, so haven't really had many of them to eat. Alright, some more flowers in here, all kind of different stuff. Some of the stuff she's bought, some has been gifts. This, I believe, is another blackberry. I'm not really sure. I gotta check. I thought we had raspberries in here, but that looks more like a blackberry. So we'll have to figure that out here shortly. Some more bee balm, roses, just all kind of different and sundry flowers. Again, hopefully to pull in pollinators. And then we got a few things, like this here is a beautyberry, which you can see is starting to really put on berries now. And that is for the birds. That's for the birds. But yeah, it actually is for birds to hopefully give them something to eat on. We do leave, you know, like mulberries in the top of the mulberry bushes and loquats on top of the loquat bushes so that the animals do have something to eat. We don't feed them, they're on their own. They can get what they want in here. But we do try and leave some for everybody. Then along here we got more roses, more marigolds, a few sundry other flowers of different sorts. Trying to make it look all pretty up in here. And then a few more there with some more of that Suriname spinach back in there. Which I gotta cut the seed. If you want Suriname spinach to grow well and, you know, like really feed you, you got to cut back on the seed heads. All right, let me take a quick break and we'll get right back with you. All right, well let's talk about the garden proper. So I bought 4. Oh man, what are they? They're like the most common plants sold for tomatoes. Oh gosh, can't think of the name right now. I got the tag over here somewhere. But anyway, they don't do that great. You know, buying plants, and you know, I did get a late start this year, so I did buy some tomato plants. And I got to tell you, it just really wasn't worth it. I've gotten like 2 tomatoes off these plants. This one here is still alive. There were originally 4. One died immediately. The other one died like a month later, and then you can see that one back here in the back is dying as we speak. I think it might be, I mean, because I did put compost down and I did mulch them, but I think it's probably the nematodes in the soil that eat them up. We got our lemongrass here, which is, you know, growing up, doing real good. We cut this back to next to nothing. Then next to that we had beans, and then what I did is I run these stringers down so the beans come down the stringers. Now they're getting past their prime. We did get quite a few beans off them though. And then next to that I got my pepper plants. All right, you can see I put mulch down on the peppers and they did really well. And I got a ton of peppers off them so far. And they're really growing well. I'm going to cut these strings back and probably knock all them beans back here in a little while. I'm going to leave them go because they kind of shade things a little bit for the moment. And then I got to figure out something to put behind them. But I got an idea. There's another type of bean that goes very well in the summertime. That's those yard-long beans of various sorts. Now over here, we have some more peppers. Right, these are the habaneros that are just starting to change color. Those down here are the serranos, and they're doing okay. The poblanos are doing well, and then the hot cayennes are producing as well. They haven't ripened up yet, but they're doing pretty good. It's really been a fight trying to keep enough water on these to grow, but they're making it so far. I have a ton of these banana peppers. Now these are not hot. There's no spice to them. It's kind of like eating a bell pepper, but they grow so much better. You look at this plant down here, and it does have one bell pepper. Let's see if I can show it from here. See that one bell pepper right there? They have produced a few, but they've been small, and it's been difficult. They didn't really take off like I'd hoped. In the past, I've had really good luck with bell peppers, just the regular green or red bells, and they've done very well. I did put a bunch of compost in here, but I don't use fertilizer, so you know, maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know. But anyway, we are getting peppers though. It's just not a huge amount this year. But things go like that. Some years you'll get lots and lots of tomatoes. Some years you just won't. Some years you get a lot of peppers, and some years you won't. Just all depends on the year. A lot has to do with the rainfall. Like I said, we've really been starving for rain. Now up this is the Indian snake bean, the bigger leaves. The smaller leaves are what is called cucamelons. Which, man, I don't have any right yet. Doesn't look like. Man, I thought I had some in here. Oh, here we go. Barely see that one. Right here. That's a baby cucamelon. Alright. And they're from my own seeds. But the cucamelons are really great because they're a tasty snack. They're kind of like a cherry tomato, which you can see I got a cherry tomato there. It's doing very well. Lots of cherry tomatoes on it. And they're covering the trellis. But every year we get a bunch of these, and they're great. Like if you're just walking around the garden and really want to grab a snack as you're going along. Now, my daughter had grown these Indian snake beans before, and they taste like a cucumber, but they grow like a bean. So far, they're doing okay. Haven't seen any, what looks like, you know, the cucumber beetles getting in the vines and killing them off yet. So we'll see. Hopefully, because they're a bean, that won't happen as much. And over here, here's my 2 cornfields. This side, I let the weeds grow up a bit to try and shade it out. That did not work out well, so I pulled the weeds out and I water it daily. And you can see they're just looking sad. I do have a few little corn husks here and there where they're starting to try and grow an ear of corn. Like one right there. Let's see, here's a better picture, one right there. Alright, so I'm starting to grow a little bit of corn on these. But these I went through and I mulched them. And they are doing so much better. So I think it's just a water thing. Down there you can see the Jack B. Little squash. Alright, so they're growing up and doing pretty well so far. Over here we have some more of the cucamelons, which are just starting to get a little big. There's another one, little one right there. Should be having a whole bunch of, and when it gets hot, they seem to do very well. Down here, these are sweet potato vines. Now, sweet potato vines are good because they make sweet potatoes. And then unless you get every little piece of sweet potato out of your garden, you're going to get volunteers. All of these in here are volunteers. I wasn't sure. I thought I'd killed them all off when I weeded this out. There's another one right there that's going crazy. But obviously I did not. So they came back anyway. Because I actually bought some sweet potato slips to put in. And they're doing well too. But these volunteers are just going crazy. This is an Aonaga Jabai cucumber. And it is starting to get attacked. I can tell you right now, we've had to cut a couple of branches off because they've gotten the cucumber worms inside the stalks, and the stalk just dies. So that's the thing that's been happening. All right, but we do have at least 2 cucumbers off of that, and all it cost me was a couple of seeds. I don't know why those people at the airport think they can use the airport whenever they want without talking with me first. That's just messed up. But anyway, but they're doing okay. If I get at least 2 cucumbers, I paid for the seeds. Well, maybe not 2, but if I get several, I'll be happy. And I did start everything late this year. It's my fault. Alright, and then you can see I got a watermelon there, I got a watermelon there, I got a watermelon there, and I got a couple small ones over there. So the watermelons are doing fine. Alright, I've been hand watering a lot. Down here, you got amaranth, which is growing like a weed. Alright, so it's starting to get big, starting to get carried away. Excuse my mess up in here. I need to do some cleaning, but don't we all? Strawberries, you know, it just seems like I cannot keep enough water on. So we're going to go through, I got to weed this out one more time, and then I'm going to put a whole bunch of compost in, and it's more mulch over the top. But we did get a few strawberries, and they're really starting to branch out. I'm getting a lot of runners, which is what I really want this year, is for the strawberries to spread and hopefully cover this whole bed. Alright, this is a snake cucumber, is what they call them, Indian snake cucumber. And they make these really long cucumbers, like that bad boy right there. So here's my hand, you can kind of get an idea of the scope of things. But they will get like 3 foot long. And they taste like a cucumber with a slight melon taste, which is actually pretty cool. They're very nice. There's another one growing there, but this is the plant, like I said, that like you can see right here. You can see that piece that is broken off and dying, and that's because it's got worms up inside of it, which is a very common thing amongst cucumbers. That's why they call them cucumber beetles. But we got like some babies, and hopefully we'll get some. And then here's my basil. This is the regular basil. Some more beans, which I planted these kind of late. Should have planted them much earlier. But we got a few beans off them. And then these are my tomatillos. But man, like all of my tomatillos are getting eaten. Let me see if I can get a better picture. You can hopefully see that. But they're going right through the husk and getting into the inside, the meat of the tomatillo. So I don't know if I'm going to get any tomatillos or not. We're going to have to see. I got some more flowers, so I'm hoping it will continue to grow, and then maybe we'll get a few. We like them for salsa and such. Oops. Yeah, let's go out this side. Well, let's go over here. Alright. Now here I've got oregano, which I know I'm going to trim back to kind of like a little small hedge, but I have not cleaned up in here like I should. Got a few carrots still trying to grow. And then these are the bunching onions. And they just keep growing. My wife takes the tops off them and dries them and then turns it into onion dip, which is really good onion dip. Alright. And then over here we have our kale. All right, so now that's one of the plants that I would recommend keeping growing through the summertime. It will continue to produce, gets a little more kale-y taste, but it does continue to produce. All right, and then here's another cherry tomato plant, or I don't know what kind of tomato that is actually. I don't know. But here you can see the Malabar spinach. These were planted at the same time as the others, and then put these out here. There's one there, there's another one right there. But they are not liking it as well out here in the full sun. I had intended for these tomatillos to shade it out a little more than it has, and just hadn't gotten the job done. Another cherry tomato right there, which is actually doing well. Well, it's a smaller tomato. The smaller tomatoes seem to do better. The cherry tomatoes and the various other types of tomatoes that have got a really small fruit seem to do much better in the summertime and will continue to grow usually for quite a little while longer. Now another thing, if you can get it going ahead of time, is chard. I've had a couple of years where the chard, as long as you keep it watered and hopefully somewhat shaded, will continue to grow. All right, now it got dry and a few of them died off, but I've still got a few plants up in here that are doing very well. All right, and then we got your Egyptian spinach right here, which does very well in the summertime. That's another, if you like the taste of it. Now it's got an acquired taste, so you know, you really got to like, you know, the taste of it. But the Egyptian spinach has grown in Egypt for a long time. Now, one of the things you're going to want to do is basically you want to try and chop it off at about the height it is now, and it'll start to branch out below. They say about 2 foot, and then take the leaves off the top of the bush, is what everything I've read says to do. Another cherry tomato here, which is producing tomatoes, you can see down in there, or a pear tomato. All right. Some more chard, Egyptian spinach here. Some more of the banana peppers. Some more Egyptian spinach, more cherry tomatoes. This here is actually radish. The oh man, daikon radishes. Now I'm gonna pull one of these bad boys out. They're still very small, even though the bush top is very large. The daikon radish themselves are very tiny yet. But this is all self-seeding. I had grown some for the winter time, and they are just continuing to grow, which I didn't think would happen in the summertime, but so far they're doing very well. Got some various and sundry different tomatoes here. I believe that's a tulip tomato, I'm not really sure. We'll see once it grows up and gets big. But check this bad boy out. Isn't that a weird looking tomato? I'm not sure what that is. Well, it's pretty odd, and the one next to it's kind of split the same way, so we're going to see once it gets bigger. I, for some reason, lost my tags when I planted all these, and so I have no real idea what tomato is which. But they're all doing well here. They started doing a lot better after I put the mulch down. All right, highly recommend it. That is just lawn mowings. It's leaves and pine needles and grass clippings, and I just go through like I just did this bed over here. All right, and covered it all up. It does a really good job of keeping moisture in and keeping the plants alive. I think it cools the roots somewhat as well, which seems to help. And then these are our cabbage plants. They never really made a head of cabbage. This is as close as I've got to a head of cabbage, but you can see that the plant is getting eaten up and chewed up, so I don't think it's going to be any good. But we've been taking leaves off as we needed them throughout the year, so they've definitely paid for the seeds on those. And behind that we've got a whole bunch of chives which have been there for several years now, and they're just continuing to grow. Oh, by the way, my trellis there is an old bed box spring that I took the cloth off of, stuck it in the garden, and it's been my little trellis to grow beans and tomatoes and all kind of stuff on. These are little finger eggplant, which just got planted here a little bit ago. I've got some more of their brothers and sisters in my little starting area that I got to put out. I'm going to probably put them out right there when I get a chance. I got to get some composted up. Man, speaking of backup meat, look at all them geese. Well, y'all better hope I never get hungry. Num num num. There's definitely a hunting season for them, by the way. Alright, then let's talk back here in the compost bin. I used up one whole section of compost in the garden already, plus about a half. And then we have another section here that's getting really close to being done. And then that one just got put in here recently. So we're slowly working our way through. You got some more edible cactus back there in the back. What's the name of that, man? I can't remember. Prickly pear. That's prickly pear cactus. That's what it is. Which is edible. My wife's grandfather used to fry it up for breakfast. And then the fruits are very sweet. You get the fruits when they're nice and purple. They're very sweet. So I got that going on. Here you can see my pile of cardboard, which goes into the compost there, or it goes into the compost there. That is fixing to come out. And what I'll do is I'll take this compost, alright, this one here will go over here, and then that one will go over here, and then I will be putting that one probably in that first bin. Or I might just mix it up, put it back in the same bin that it's in. But eventually I'm going to plant a tree there, because I'm really trying to develop this portion of the food forest out and get it looking good. So we're getting there. Moringa is doing well. It did not freeze this year, so normally what happens is it freezes, and then the only thing that comes up is these little shoots, like there. But if you look, we didn't freeze this year, so they're starting off like, I don't know, 20 foot high. And then I've got flowers on them too, which is hard to see, more than likely, but I do actually have flowers. Let me see if I can focus in on them. You got some flowers right up there. So, oh, I wanted to show you some of this too. Let's go back over here. So that's what we got for vegetables. Now, look, all right, so I said that I would show you what we have as our staples. One, we have the kale. You got the curly kale, and this is the dinosaur kale. All right, that continues to grow typically throughout the summer. All right, it'll still provide us with greens. All right, another thing that we have growing all over the place, let me get over here, is this one here. This is the longevity spinach. All right, it loves the heat. It'll grow like crazy. And then I've shown you the Malabar spinach and the Egyptian spinach. Those also grow in the heat, and they grow like crazy. And so that gives you 1, 2, 3, curly kales 4, 5, 6, 7 with the moringa. If I get the pink moringa going, that's 8 different things that you can get your greens from. So you can have a salad pretty much all year round. All right, and then with the fruit, between the fruit and the tomatoes, we pretty much have fruit all year long. I mean, you can see this, a Shia fig in particular has gone insane. It's just gone crazy. All right, I've got figs all over this. So even once the pears are done, the apples are done, peaches are done, loquats are done, plums are done, I still got the grapes. And then from the grapes, by that time, all of these Shia figs will be ripening up. And hopefully we'll get some turkey figs this year, some of the brown turkey figs, once these fatten up a little bit. We got that tropical storm coming in today. It is the 20th. Well, tropical depression, I guess. It's not really a tropical storm. But hopefully that'll bring us a whole bunch of rain and soak everything down. Because, man, I'll show you over here what our pond looks like. But it ain't great. Here's some more of the lemongrass, which we have all over the place. Lemongrass is great for teas. It's also great for, you can rub it on your body as an insect repellent. The cats like it. I don't know, maybe they feel like you get fresh breath out of it. I don't know. Back here, I got some more tomatoes. This was my huviculture bed, which I went about doing wrong. But the tomatoes are growing. Once I mulched them in, I've got some more of the sweet potatoes going on back here. And then, actually, this one is one of my better, probably my second best Seminole pumpkin. So, and then some more sweet potatoes right there. I want to show you this though. Again, I'm in the windy spot, you can see. But this is our Man, cannot think of them. They're berries though. And they grow wild around here. We got them everywhere. But this, let me see if I can get a branch. Because that is my actual cherry, a black cherry tree. Here we go. You see, that's the cherries that you get off of black cherry. You see on my hand here. I can't get it to focus in very well. But they're not big. Alright, but you can use them if you cook them down. You can make a syrup out of them. And they get used for various and sundry things. The easier way is to pick them up off the ground. You'll see, like this one here. Here, let's see, where is it? Right there. That's where you find them a lot, because these trees are so large. Now, if you got a shorter tree, you can pick them. Like I got one that's got a little bit lower branches on it. Oh man, what is the name of those berries? Anyway. But I want to show you, so the pond back here, I don't really want to show you everybody's houses, but the pond back here, if you look, you can see that concrete stanchion over here. See right over in there? That water level is at least 3 foot below where it starts to drain. And about 3 foot lower than where it normally is. And that's how bad, how dry it's been. And you can see it's been that way for a while. Because if you look, you see where the taller weeds right here are. That's actually where the edge is. Alright, so like right along here, you can see a ledge, and then that water level's at least 3 foot lower than that, and going down daily. So if we don't get some rain soon, I don't know what's going to happen. They've already started talking about water restrictions and all that. It's a good sized pond though, but I mean, the pond doesn't do me any good other than keeping wildlife around, like alligators and such. But at any rate, hopefully we'll get some more rain. That's what's been killing a lot of things. That's why I think my my plums are looking so sad, the actual bushes themselves. The plums came out great. We had a bunch of plums. I ate them up. But that's my garden. So, what do I grow in the summertime? The things that I grow that do well is winter squash or watermelon. They seem to do okay until they start to get eaten up. Like this one here, you see how that's dying? They'll eventually get into the squash as well. Some squash are better, and there's a way you can help protect your squash by getting blue Hubbard squash, and it's a trap crop. So the squash bugs will go there instead of attacking your crops, theoretically at least. The cucamelons. Once the summertime hits, you'll see the cucamelons really do well. Like I said, we're starting to get a few here and there, and just a few here and there, like I said. But here soon, they'll be all over the place. So we eat a lot of those. Watermelons typically have done well for us. I don't like okra. I'm not a big fan of okra. Okra grows very well here, though. The little finger eggplants do very well for us. Believe it or not, collards. These are, again, some more collard plants that volunteered. And if you look up here, this is actually a collard plant that I tied off. And you can see it's got seed pods, which I just kind of let fall. And if we get some, great. If we don't, that's all okay too. It's not costing me anything to let it grow here. I do save some seeds, and then I'll let others just fall as they will. And then we'll get another crop. Alright, so those grow all year. The chives, both the onion and the garlic chives, which I have the garlic chives there and back over there, usually do well in the summertime. These bunching onions will continue to grow through the summertime. A lot of the herbs will, like there's really no killing oregano, man. It just loves it. I don't care what it is. It survives, or at least it has for me so far. Cherry tomatoes typically will continue to grow for me. It seems like they will continue to grow through the summer unless the bug population gets to be too much. And then pepper plants. The peppers usually, I've had peppers that continue to produce all the way up until the first freeze. So usually they will do very well if you can keep them fertilized with some compost, and if you can keep them alive and the bugs don't eat them too bad. I mean, you can see I've got a little bit of bug damage on the leaves, but it hasn't been bad. It hasn't been bad at all. And then some of the things that I have yet to plant, which I will be doing here very shortly, is the yard-long beans. They grow very well. There's a couple different kinds. There's red and there's green. But they've always done very well for me as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really likes the heat. I want to say that's pretty much it. So, peppers, cherry tomatoes, bunching onions, Egyptian spinach, longevity spinach, Malabar spinach, amaranths, some collards, and if you've already got them growing, I don't know whether or not you can get them growing, but kale will continue to grow through the winter time. I mean the summer, as long as they've already been established. Getting them to grow at this time of year is probably a little more difficult, but if you've already got them started, they seem to do very well. All right, give you a quick overview here. The sun's fixing to start going down. It's getting a little late. That's my garden so far. So much better than it was at the beginning of the year. We let it go last year. It didn't really do much. Man, it's looking a lot better. I might even actually get some corn this year. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming along. Hopefully you like what you saw. Between the flowers and the front yard and all of that, and all of the vegetables and foods we got growing. We are coming up on the dead season, so there's just not a lot that's going to grow, except for the things I already listed out. But we still got the flowers. We still got our bumblebees. See my little buddy right here. I don't know if you can see him or not. He's hanging out. Everything seems to be doing pretty well, despite the fact that last year I pretty much just stopped doing anything and let everything go crazy. We had the Biden's alba, or the Spanish needle. What was it? The other thing? My wife was telling me the name of it. But at any rate, it's a pain. It's a huge weed. The bees love it. Don't get me wrong. But it basically shaded out everything and killed off most of the garden. So we got it all brought back now. This fall we'll be planting a lot more as time goes along. I should be doing a few more videos here shortly. I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted by all the little bees flying around. So look forward to more videos as we go along. Again, thank you for stopping by. Do me a favor, give me a like and a subscribe if you like what you saw. Most importantly, grow something. Get something growing in your yard. It's really nice when we want a salad, we just walk out to the yard and go grab a salad. I want peppers for some salsa or whatever, I just walk out to the yard and go get it. We need fruit for breakfast, we just walk out in the yard and go get it. Alright, so my goal is to get to where we have fruit all year round, which we're really close to getting. Alright, thanks once again. Y'all take care, come back and see me, and like I said, grow something.